everybody, it's me, the Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl. It is Monday night and this is Twisted Stitches. I want to just once again wish all the wonderful moms out there, those of you who are moms or who have celebrated moms this weekend, happy Mother's Day. It was a beautiful, beautiful day for us here in Connecticut. My cousin was visiting and we actually took a road trip, 2.5 hours, a little over 2 hours to Massachusetts for dinner. So it was lovely. Went to the Capitol Grill and was treated like a queen, which I hope all of you were. And most importantly, I hope you did exactly what you wanted to do on that very special day to celebrate moms. We have joining us tonight, Nancy Parks is with us and Darren Showers. Marcy Mara, hello there again, Marcy. Thanks for joining us. Jeannie McLean, Deb Andretta, Cheryl Ballinger from Florida, and Deb Massa. How are you all? And we have got some fun things planned for tonight. I'm sure we'll have more folks joining us, and we'll just move along a little bit here while we're getting ready for them to, or while we're waiting for them to come in. Renee Richardson is joining us, and Margaret Goldschneider is here. Thank you so much, Margaret, for joining us. I hope that your wrists are feeling better and you're back into knitting. Lori Royce is here. Hi, Lori and Gloria Homilthief. Hi, Anna Maria. It's a good week here at Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl. We're finally having some good weather. Are you all enjoying nice weather there where you are? Tell us what it's like where you are. We've got Texas represented and Connecticut and Pennsylvania, Florida, Massachusetts. Marcy Mara, I don't know where you live, where you hail from. Lisa Simmons, good evening, Lisa. So hi, Diane. When we got back from our little road trip for dining yesterday, I decided to sit down and I finished my second chicken, who I sent home with my cousin because she is a psychotherapist, and she asked if she could have one for her practice. And so I made one for her and was able to get it all done before she left and hopped on the ferry this morning to take herself back home. Donna Masung is in Pittsburgh at the airport. And yes, that's good, chat, Margaret. I'm so nice to see that you are back to knitting. I'm going to show that comment because we love when everybody is able to enjoy knitting and crocheting. And Nancy Parks is saying it was a perfect day in Northern Virginia, and it's a perfect day here too. I actually went out for a walk today. It felt so good to get out and move around a little bit. I am not a fan of walking in the cold weather. When I was running, I was not a fan of running in the cold weather. So I wait for these lovely, glorious days to arrive so that I can enjoy getting outdoors, because I do enjoy being outside. So let's see. Gorgeous on the beach yesterday, but humid and hot today. I will take humid and hot any day of the week, Cheryl. Believe me. Now, that's really funny because I love knitting and I love knitting sweaters, but I don't like being cold. Maybe that's why I like knitting sweaters so much, because I would much rather be snugly warm in a sweater that I can, or a shawl that I can wrap myself in, than be cold. And Miriam Murray Summers is with us. Hello there. Hello there. And I'm going to grab me a water. So excuse me 1 minute. While I do that. Okay. Always work up a thirst when I'm talking. And I do a lot of talking here when I'm on this. You know, it's funny, when Paul's with me, I feel like I never get to say a thing. And then when he's not here, all I get to do is talk all by myself. Hi, Phyllis. We are in air alert. Oh, in Minnesota because of Canada smoke. Aha. Paul is on the road. He is actually, you call it in Long Island or on Long Island? I think he's on Long Island. We actually got home. Hey, Michelle, we actually got home last night, probably at 5, and he had a 7 o'clock ferry. So, we just keep going. Yes, the sun was glorious today. Hi, Pam. How are you? And Michelle Mingo Lewis is also with us. So we got a few folks here, and I thought, as I was wondering, what am I going to be talking about today? Because I like to have a plan for every show, even when we don't have a guest. I thought about the learning curve, and I thought about that because we got some new kits in today, or earlier at the end of last week. But that wasn't really what it was. I had a situation with a learning curve myself this week, so I think that's what made me think about this class. And I'm going to show you what my learning curve involved. We got a few new things here. Hi, Michelle Barrett. I hope you're doing well. Where are you from, Michelle? I believe that's a new name or a newer name, one that's not. So let me see if I can get this on the screen somehow. All right, so this is my new, there it is, my new yarn winder. And I remember when I was competing in triathlons, I have to share this story with you because there's a lot that relates directly to this, and then a lot that relates directly to learning curves in general. Swimming was not my strongest sport. And so I decided that for my first saltwater swim, I was going to wear a wetsuit. I had never worn a wetsuit before, but I thought, okay, well, I know how to swim. And I thought, okay, this is going to help me. I kept hearing everything about how wetsuits keep you buoyant in the water. And, it's a lot easier to swim with a wetsuit in salt water. And so I put on my wetsuit and I got in the water and I felt like I was going to suffocate. And it was a sure combination of being low confidence in the water and then wearing something that made me feel constricted. And I just thought I would just lose it. I thought I would die there. But I did. I struggled through the water. And my swim coach, when I got out, it was the next day, and I was explaining the situation to him. And he said, "What did you learn from that situation?" And my response was, never do something when it counts for the first time when it counts. Don't do something when it's absolutely necessary. Try things ahead of time, get used to them, and then go out and do it when you are in a better position and when you have some knowledge and you feel like you've got a little bit more confidence. So I got this great new yarn winder, and I'm very proud of it. I'm very excited with it. I'm going to have to boost it up a little bit to show to you. Maybe I can just hold it because it's a lot easier to show you this way. So this lovely little thing, I'll show you how it works. Got this cute little button that turns it on. You thread it just like you would your manual winder, and then you turn it on and you start it, right? So this is sorry about that little squeaky noise. And it's kind of like the faster it goes, the faster you run it, the better it winds. Except this does not mean you can set it and forget it. It is certainly not something you can walk away from. And I was all set. I don't know if you can see behind me on the table back there. You can see all the neuro yarns. I'm getting ready. I've actually started winding yarns for our tasting kits. But somebody came in that morning. I was all set to use this lovely new machine to wind the yarns for the tasting kits, and they needed yarn wound they had purchased here. So I used it for the first time when it counted. That was not smart. So there was a bit of a learning curve on this, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay. So in a perfect world, this happens. Isn't it great? It's wonderful. In a not so perfect world, Saturn happens. That happens. So it takes a little time to understand how the machine works and the best the best speed to put it on based on the yarn you're winding. To make sure your yarn is in the right position on the umbrella swift. Yeah, I see somebody's laughing there. It wasn't so funny when it happened, though. I can promise you that. But now it's funny now, and I've learned a lot from it. And I spent a good part of my Saturday doing this. But it was certainly a learning experience, and I'm not there 100%, but I feel a lot better than I did when I started. And that's exactly the way it is with anything else you do. Another nifty little tool we just got in is the I-cord tool. And so now that's the next thing I have to learn, because before I can show you how to use it, I've got to figure it out myself. So I am not putting anything out there on this unless you already know how to use it, so that you can, they're certainly available, but I want to make sure that I know what to do in case you should have some questions on it when you get it. So that's another thing, that there'll be a learning curve on that as well. And it's one thing to just create a little I-cord with it. It's something else to put an I-cord on the neckline of your sweater or on the edge of your cuffs when you've already got knitting there. How do you then create that? How do you create the I-cord apply to an applied stitch already? So that's something else that I'm going to be learning. So I'm going to acknowledge all these other folks who have joined us since I started, and I'm going to ask you, what are some things that you felt that you had a strong learning curve with, something that you really had to practice before you got to the point where you said, okay, I think I've got this now. And of course, there's always more practice. So I'd like to hear some of the things that you've had challenges with. So Robbie McCarthy has joined us, and Michelle Marty Barrett, thank you. Lila Fossa, Andrea Whitmore, Sherry Cox Tasting, a Kitchener Stitch. I still have to say the Kitchener Stitch all the time. In fact, I have this wonderful little cheater from Katrinkles. That's the garter stitch Kitchener. Brioche, Marianne Murray Summers, brioche, German twisted cast on, all these things. And so what do you do? So I have the option of switching the winder to manual. Well, yeah, I can always wind manually, but that's why I'm seeing a therapist right now for my shoulder. So I do my best. That's why I got this, so that I don't have to wind manually. And no, you can't switch this winder to manual. There's no crank on it for manual winding. Tina Yakovu, short rows and wrap and turns, picking up sleeve stitches without leaving a large hole. And there are little tips and techniques for doing those things. Brioche, absolutely brioche. German twisted cast on. And yeah, so all these different things. And the only way we get better at it is by doing it. And you've heard me say before, scrap yarn is your friend. If you do not understand the process of something, or if you're learning a new stitch, swatch. Make a swatch of 30 stitches, 20 stitches. And Nancy Park says everything. Life is a learning curve, Nancy, right? For sure. You make that little swatch, and then practice on that. We've got the lace knitting and chart reading class coming up on Saturday, and I'm excited about that, because I think chart reading is something that so many people struggle with. We've had that conversation on the show before, that we struggle with chart reading, and I've seen people take an entire chart and turn it into a spreadsheet with every column representing a knit or a purl, or a knit or a purl, or a yarn over, or whatever, with all the written symbols. Well, once you learn how to read a chart, your life is going to be so much easier, so much better. You'll move through those projects so much faster. So for me, I made myself learn to read charts. It was, nobody taught me. I made myself do it. And then I will tell you that I was doing it wrong in some cases. And so then I learned from someone finally the right way. So just because you're practicing something doesn't mean you're practicing it properly. Learning the right way is also very important. Marianne Murray says turning a heel. And isn't it funny? I don't knit socks alike a lot, but I do enjoy turning a heel on a sock. I know that's really scary, but I do. I like turning that heel. Hi, Donna. I hope you're having a great night, and I hope you had a lovely, lovely Mother's Day. Um, so those are some of the things that I found. And then, teaching, learning something new altogether, whether it's knitting or crochet. Um, I always tell people knitting is my first language when it comes to crafts. I do enjoy needlepoint and cross stitch and crochet and quilting, but I can only do one and get better at it as opposed to doing everything and only getting a little bit better at each one. I would rather work harder and get better at one and then go to the next one. Nancy Park says, I was taught to cast on one way, knit and purl, and one kind of cast off. I never knew there were so many ways to do each of those. I never knew about blocking when I made my first sweaters. Isn't that interesting? Beth Ann Wilkes says, good evening. And not sure what dodo I turning a heel is magic. Sherry Cox, you're going to have to explain that to me a little bit. So, yeah, so all those things. And I also find sometimes that it's a little bit easier to teach young people, young, like kids, 8 to 12. It's a great age to teach people, to learn, because their minds are so open, and we just want to jump into everything because we feel we should know how to do it. Oh, I'm an adult. I have all this experience in my life. I should be able to turn a heel, or I should be able to pick up brioche. Um, it's really tough. So Tina Yakovu is saying that short rows and wrap and turns. And Julie, you agree with her? Well, you all should be here. Well, Tina's in our chicken class, our chicken knit along. You want to get better at short rows? Knit a chicken. They're all short rows, and it's small, and so it's not going to overwhelm you. And it's garter stitch short rows, so you're just wrapping and turning. And I will say that I've seen two different methods of wraps and turns when in our class. And Deb Massett says you teach your seventh graders. You even had them Kool-Aid dye yarn. That's cool. That's fantastic. You're not too old. You're not too old, Tina. We're never too old to learn. I learned that you can teach an old dog new tricks when I had an old dog. Not implying that anyone here is old. But yeah, you can learn new things, and you can get better at it as well. So yeah, just lots of things that we can do. And I think knitting in a group is also fun. It helps us to realize that not everybody learns at the same pace or learns the same way. Where one person might want me or the instructor to go up and hold their hand and actually work with them or behind them or opposite them so that they can get the motion, where someone else likes to read the instructions. And then we've got that YouTube learner, and the YouTube learner today is there's so much out there, and it's just a new way of learning. It's not my favorite, but what I do like about YouTube learning when I am taking it, it's that I can watch it and stop it and watch, stop, and do. So I can get it in small increments. And even if I have to practice it over and over and over again, it's definitely a great way to be able to still have that instruction right in front of you, the visual right in front of you, and then practice it while you go along. So let's see. Michelle Barrett says, I learned to crochet at a young age, and knitting came easily after that. I did the same. I learned crochet first at a young age, and then I learned knitting after that. So Nancy Parks is asking Paul to tell us about his knitting learning curve. Paul doesn't have a curve. It's more like a nosedive when it comes to his knitting learning curve. If he would just pick it up and keep knitting, he'd be in a lot better shape. But maybe I should let Paul answer that. And so, Paul, if you would like to chime in there for wherever you are, thank you, Joanne. Yeah, he doesn't. It's not a curve at all. It's just like boom, straight downhill. So that's where we are with that. And I wanted to show you. Speaking of young people learning, this is not just for young people, but let me show you these fun things that I told you about. So when we were at H&H, and no more H's, Paul, at H&H, I found these lovely learn to knit, beginner knit and beginner crochet kits. So in these kits, you'll find all the instructions, everything you need to knit or to learn how to knit. And there's also a QR code, a finger going in the right direction right there, that will take you to their two videos. So this is the materials. It's got the finishing in here. Let's see if I can turn this so that you can see. It's really nicely done. I'm really impressed with Zoli. This is a great little company. So you've got your little booklet here. I so many folks coming in right there. There's your QR code. This is help learn to knit videos right there. Takes you right to the videos. In here, you've got your little, gives you bamboo circular needles, no straights, circular needles. And they include cotton yarn so that it is non-allergenic. So your whole little kit is right here. Everything you need. Even has a little tapestry needle in there for your sewing. So in the Learn to Knit kits, you will learn the, it's really cool because they start you off. Jillian, I hope you have an extra kit for Paul. That's funny. That's cute. So your Learn to Knit kit, you start with one color garter stitch, and then you go to two colors, and then you do stripes. So they teach you how to change colors as well. And then in the beginner crochet kit, how cute is this? The little amigurumi guy, and you've got everything, whoa, including the stuffing. And what they do with the crochet is, let me show this to you. It's even got a little locking stitch marker in this kit. This is cute. They give you everything you need. But so what they do with the Learn to Crochet is first they teach you how to make the little scarf. And once you learn how to make the scarf, you learn your basic chain and single crochet, and then you learn more pieces from it. And it's a really cute little kit. So I like that one. And then this is all the rage right now, the Taylor Swift things. We've got the friendship bracelets. So again, video instructions, step by step in all of these. So I want to go back and see. Michelle Bear is saying that you've taught many of your students to crochet. Isn't that wonderful? I know Oriana Bruno has a knitting group in her business as well. Nancy Parks is saying, I was joking, but Paul's a perfect example of someone who is not a child trying to learn something that needs concentration and patience. Absolutely. I mean, think about when you were learning how to ride a bike. You're a kid. You had all the patience in the world. You might be anxious and eager to learn, but that eagerness to learn gives you the patience that you need. And then when we get older, we just want to know everything. So, I just encourage all of you to try new stitches, try new things. And you see a pattern, don't run away from it quite so fast. I know one of the hard parts is we have to buy the patterns oftentimes before we can see what's in them and what the instructions are. Some folks are saying that they'll talk about the chicken pattern, that it could be written a little better. Maybe the person who wrote it is not a professional designer. I know I certainly am not. And even the Patriot Game shawl is not a professionally written pattern. I did my very best to convey the information to everyone, but we're learning. It's a craft. We're having a good time. And so you just get, and Jillian, perfect. Give ourselves some grace in all of this. That's right. It is grace. You just give yourself grace. It will take time. So even in the class that we have coming up, we tell you to knit a swatch. I believe it's a 39 stitch swatch. And I was talking to someone today who signed up for the class, and I said, I don't care if you have an inch of work done, just so that you've got something, so that when you're practicing that chart in the class, you have scrap yarn rather than a project that you're going to be working on that you're going to be literally digging into with your stitches. And yes, yarn does have memory, but you just get frustrated. So swatching is our friend. A little sample swatch is not going to hurt you. Happens a lot, and it makes our lives a lot easier. Going back up, someone asked about, they said tasting kits. Yes, the tasting kits are part of our Nora weekend. So we got Nora weekend is coming up June 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. And we're going to have a try-on trunk show and tasting kits. And Whitney Terrell is creating another pattern for the tasting kits. So I am winding the yarns, and she is creating the pattern. And we're going to be swatching that up, and that will, or knitting up a sample, and that will be the weekend of June 21st. And we also have, during that weekend, we have classes, and I love the classes that Whitney has come up with for the weekend, because they really focus on how to I want to say what's that word, it's embrace all the things that Noro yarn can do with color. So we've got that self-striping, and she talks about how to make squares out of circles, start with circles and get to squares, and just so many different things that you can do. And Whitney's very creative with those needles, and she will definitely show you some wonderful things that you can do with Noro yarns. So the tasting kit is part of the weekend, and you can sign up for that. You can find that on our website. Nancy is saying that the same sentence could mean different things to different people. Oh yes, and we also know that the tone of our voice can change the meaning of a sentence, or the meaning of a word, the way we present ourselves. So yeah, just take your time with your knitting, and if there's ever anything we can help you with, don't hesitate to try to give us a call. But be adventurous, mosaic knitting, easy, but that's all part of chart reading. Actually, mosaic, you don't always even have a chart. Mosaic, sometimes you just have written patterns. But that's the thing. Don't turn a pattern away because it's it has charts instead of words, a written pattern, or vice versa. Just go for it. Give yourself the opportunity to learn more than even if you already know how to work with the chart. It'll help you get better at it, or if you try something different. So just go for it. So what else is going on out there? I'm trying to think if there was anything else I needed to share with you all tonight, but you have lots that you can share with me as well. So I am looking forward to it. Has anybody else knitted their little chickens? I'm getting some special yarn for chickens, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna be trying something else, and looking forward to kind of giving a different dimension to the chicken knitting. So I am going to move these little guys here, and I am about to go to the sharing bucket. So hold on a minute there, folks. Well, I think, let's see. We're going to pull a name from this bucket. And today's winner is Jenny Giacomini. So Jenny, thank you so much. I'm not going to hold on to it till the retreat. I will be sending it out to you before then. And I thank you very much. I hope you all had a great night. And I certainly enjoyed spending some of my Monday evening with you. I am going to be going home and working on a test knit for our next unsubscription box. So I will see you all next Monday on Twisted Stitches. And in the meantime, I'm sure we'll be popping up here with some good news during the week. I thank you all for joining us. And we will see you all very soon. Bye-bye. Stay safe. We love you.